Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. My name is Jose, I am a Golden in Kendo, and today we're going to be watching some of the fights from this year's All Japan Kendo Championship, discussing them, talking about Kendo, and see what we can learn from them. Especially I kind of want to pay attention to how the COVID rules have been implemented and maybe address some of the misconceptions or misunderstandings that we've been having for those rules. So today we're going to look at the semifinal and the final of the All Japan Kendo Championship. And if you have any questions, please let me know. We'll address it. This is what these streams are for us to share and just to learn together about Kendo. That being said, I know besides my last stream from the All Japan, it's been a while since I streamed before. I was out of town. I was in Peru actually, and I did get a lot of good training there. And yeah, I couldn't stream. I couldn't really record videos and stuff, so I'm a little bit behind on all my content stuff, but trying to catch up. So just give me 1 second. I want to check out if the bot today is working. Let me see. Let's see if the Discord server. Okay, so I guess the bot now is working again, so I can send you guys the Discord server. So I just put the link for the Discord server. You can join it, and there you can find a lot of other Kendoka and people who love and want to learn Kendo. So it's free. You can just join it there, and yeah, if you need to contact me or ask me any questions, you can do it through there. And make sure everything. Okay. Make sure everything is set up correctly, guys. And let me know how has your practices been this past couple days. Have you had any good practices? Anything new that you have learned or you're trying to learn? That'll be cool to know. And let me just make sure, hold on, I forgot the command for. Okay. Everybody that's here, welcome to the stream, by the way. And thank you for passing by. You always appreciate it. Give me a second. I haven't streamed in a minute fully, so I just want to make sure everything goes by nicely. Okay, Shen, welcome to the stream, by the way. Thank you for passing by. You got PNKF Taikai tomorrow. You had been doing more Keiko in practice the last few weeks. So that's the biggest part. That's the most important part, I feel like, to get ready for Taikai, just to make sure that you get the experience of Jigeiko. And how have you been approaching your Jigeikos? Do you visualize yourself in the tournament? How do you prepare mentally to go fight in the tournament as you do your practices? I think that's always a good point to talk about. Especially today, we're gonna be talking about maybe tournament techniques. Shen, if you're competing tomorrow, I'm just gonna say that don't try anything new, anything you haven't tried. Just stick to your kendo. I think you get better results that way. So if you've been watching videos lately, my best advice is to not follow what you see the last couple of days before, something that you haven't tried. So yeah, but let me know what have you been up to when it comes to training for that. You said you try to stop thinking and let your body reflex. What's it called? React, right? And take off. Oh, let your body reflex take over. Cool, cool. Um, that's a big point. One of the biggest things that a friend of mine always talked to me about when doing kendo is that you want to come in to your opponent with an empty mind. You don't want to come in with a set technique, but then when that moment of executing the technique, your body should be able to do it without you thinking. You may plan out the approach, you may plan what you're gonna do to come in close, but the moment of the technique, you cannot come in with the mentality, I'm gonna do man, because then I think you're destined to fail, like destined to get counter. Anyways, guys, so I told you guys we're gonna watch and break down the semifinals for the 70th All Japan Kendo Championship, and I'm going to take over and I'm gonna look over to the finals for this year's All Japan. Hope you enjoyed. The point again is to not only learn from their kendo, but also see how the COVID rules are being implemented. And actually, there's one more that I would like to watch because it kind of shows a little bit of that attention that we need to have at the moment of Tsubasariai to avoid not getting ippon or getting a hansoku. So I kind of want to see if I can play that real quick. Let me just try to hop over onto that. Let me see. Okay. Okay. And it's this one. It's the one with Nishimura. So let me see if I can get a little bit of a bigger. Maybe I can crop this so it will look better. Okay, I can make it bigger. Oh, but this is like... Okay, let me crop it. Okay. Sorry, guys. I didn't think about doing this before because I thought it was looking fine. Okay. Maybe like this. Nah. Okay. Oh, that's another one. Okay. Maybe this is okay. Let me just, maybe I can do this. Okay, this will probably look good. Okay, so again, the point here is to kind of look at what happened to Nishimura getting score on. Let's watch a little bit of this match. The sound on this match was double on this court, so it kind of sucks. So right here, I think we kind of start seeing some of the effects that I'm talking about. So at this point, there is Subasari I, and the disengagement, it hasn't happened. There's not a clear like Tatari, Subasari I, and disengage. So at this point, the motion is still fluid. And his opponent takes advantage of that to execute a technique. He missed it, but that would have been a fine spot to get an ippon. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay, anyways, let's just move on to... Diencho. Okay, so this is the one I was mentioning before. This is a very cool approach or a very good strategy, I guess. The ability to move around the shinai this way. You watch it. You saw that? He's not getting tangled. So let's see if we can go back frame by frame. So you see from here, he looks like he can be stuck, right? And this is one of the things that this is why you don't want to try to hook your opponent's sword. You want to make sure that you are engaged into the fight. Here I feel that Sangawa, his center is completely out of the opponent. So for me, this is a point of danger because maybe he feels confident by hooking Nishimura's Shinai there. But as you can see, he could get away from there and execute a technique. So it's very important to not go with this mentality. You want to go always with the mentality of going towards your opponent. My opinion, by the way. So you see there's a little bit of tension, a little bit of engagement on Subasari Eye, but when that tension is dissipating, then you separate. The biggest problem that I'm seeing, and again, this is high level Kendo, right? Is that the separation is kind of too relaxed. Okay, I'm gonna try to find a spot where the man happens. Okay. Oh wait, this was Nishimura's win. Oh, okay, sorry. Let's see this man. Oh, I went too back. Dang it. Okay, right about here. This is very, very important. When you're in this position, it's really hard. It's really hard if you just start blocking and stay there and don't adjust the distance that you can actually react properly. So Nishimura, by creating this opening, by throwing the kote, he almost got that kote, and this definitely got White worried. He felt that he was covering the man. But I always say it, when somebody covers and then they overreact to the cover, like when they cover unnecessarily, there's going to be a moment of relaxation after where the person drops the sword, and that's enough a lot of the times to get a point. So for example, in this case, Nishimura, tries to hit the kote, guy defends, tries to hit the man, defense, but then there's a little bit of a fake towards the man. The guy reacts to cover the man, and then he starts bringing it down because as an overreaction, there's kind of like an overcompensation. I don't know if that makes sense. If you watch it. So let's watch this here, slow motion. So he goes for the kote, he goes a little bit for the man, and then immediately he goes for the man after. So this type of cover and relaxation is very important to start understanding so you can exploit it. It doesn't always happen, obviously, but it's something that you might want to keep an eye out when you throw maybe like a feint for a technique. You want to see, okay, are they doing this? And if they are, then you can take advantage of it. Anyways, what I want to do, let's start watching a little bit of the semifinals for the All Japan Championship. And this video I picked up from Kendo World. I wanted to do ippon compilation, but All Japan Kendo Federation hasn't posted the ippons. But this is a good alternative. Okay, let me just skip the intro a little bit. So we have Otani and Ando in this one. As we know, Ando went to the final, so he obviously wins this match. But great match nonetheless to watch. So let's watch the match first, and then I will go over some of the comments. If you have any questions, you can start shooting them. Very nice. I like how they do the slow motion. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very nice. Okay, so this was the match. I thought he won by 2 points, but I like this video because it's mostly like highlights of the match. It's pretty cool, but there's a couple of things that I just want to point out. The first thing, it's Ando's. I'm a little bit biased. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted Ando to win, so I was looking more towards Ando during the fight. But I'm gonna say, keep an eye of how Ando is keeping the pressure towards the opponent, the intention towards the opponent. His opponent attack, he deflects, and immediately he tries to go towards his opponent. See, things like this, like Koteka Eshimen, right? His opponent goes for a kote, he covers it, obviously because he will worry about it, but immediately brings the shinai back to center, and when he finds the first opportunity, throws the technique. Tsuba Seriai. Cool attempt to the Tsuki. So, Harai, kote, and after the kote, he brings back the shinai into the center. The way that he covers, I always mention this, I always try to make sure that this is understood as well. When you're covering like this, a lot of people tend to cover, let me just get this in the shinai. In this position, a lot of people, let me just go back in here. A lot of people cover like this, right? Or maybe even like this. But if you see, he's trying to keep the sword towards the opponent rather than just making it like a block like this. And this is also, of course, this is not a favorable position to be in, but if you have to be there, at least it's a good intention forward. He's always keeping that intention towards the opponent. Hansoku there. For stepping out of bounds, mind you. Very, very nice ippon. So let's break that ippon down for a little bit. So Ando comes in, Ando comes in with a threat to the man, right? He closes the distance in a very surprising manner. His opponent went back and covered, right? But they both realized, okay, I have an opportunity to go. And they both decided to commit forward. Ando, because he had that forward momentum, I believe, gave him the opportunity to get there first. Not only that, his opponent, I guess he missed, but very, very, very important. The forward momentum, the forward intention is so important because at this moment, Ando has his sword coming in forward, and his opponent, you see the right arm, he pulls the right arm, right? I don't know if you saw that. Let me go back a little bit. Look at the right arm here. He starts pulling back before going forward. So these little things can make you a little bit less efficient, in my opinion, of course. So maybe something you want to keep in mind when you're training, always have an intention forward. Going back, I know you probably heard senseis tell you, okay, going back is not the way, you have to go forward. But there's more than just you retreating. It's also about having that edge on the momentum, on even just the decision to go forward. You always have to have that because that's the only way you get out of the fight, right? Like, you get out of the fight by winning it. So with this mentality, you want to have always intention to hit rather than to block. My thought. Let me know what you think. Not the cleanest, not the prettiest, but I think he had a good. And as you see, there is time given to separate from each other. I feel that the way that the rules were implemented on this All Japan make it very interesting, make it very fluid. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Very interesting exchange. He throws the kote. You'll see. See, he's keeping the pressure towards the opponent, immediately goes in for that kote. Very light, maybe not even in the right area, can't really see because of the camera, but immediately, even though he might feel that he got that point, he keeps the intention forward back to his opponent. His opponent, okay, he goes for the second one and immediately, always with intention towards the opponent. And if you saw that, hold on. Look what happens after he blocks. Bam. He tries something. I think, listen, this is habit. For him, he's not thinking about this, I think. This is habit. And we have to train with this intention. One of the things that I talked to some of the people when I was in Peru is that a lot of times they attack and they just stay there, or they attack without the intention of keep going for another technique. And of course, you don't want to be sloppy in the fact that you don't want to like pa 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 like senselessly. You have to also develop an eye of when that opening is, but going in with the intention of hitting and then stopping, it kills your sanction. It shows that you have no sutemi. It really affects your kendo at a high level. So you want to always have the intention to go forward and throw everything every time you go for a technique. You see, even when he blocks there, Ferran, welcome back. Okay, so even here when he blocks this Tsuki, wait. See, he even going backwards, he has the intention forward. I mean, look at this. For me, this is the right mentality to have. Even when he's going backwards, he's keeping a forward intention to hit his opponent. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I think that this is again something you develop with habit, but something that you definitely want to put thought and effort into developing. Let me watch the exchange real quick. That's that sounded like a kote. Obviously, we can't see from the angle, but very nice. Very powerful. Let me catch up with some of the comments. Frank, you said you didn't get to see a Katate men score from any of the Jordans during the whole tournament. So yeah, I mean, oh wait, no, I think there was. I think against Hoshiko, maybe on the first round, I think that's where Hoshiko lost. I think so. Hui, you're saying that, and I'm hoping I'm saying your name correctly, so I'm sorry if I'm not, that Do you believe it's because he has nice footwork that he's able to do that? Yes, and I think that's also that comes in with a lot of practice. You have to learn how to move your body efficiently. So being able to go forward and backwards without like hesitation or like wobbling. That's great. Farang, I don't have that fight. If you can remind me which court he fought, I can try to look at because I have the live stream from the All Japan on another window open, so we can probably look at that real quick. But if you can remind me which court he fought and more or less how high on the table he was, I can look that up for you. So this separation I don't like. Okay, like this. You see this little step right here? I feel that maybe it's a little bit too relaxed. Granted, their level of kendo is much higher than mine, so I'm sure that they have a way to bail out in this position. I'm saying it for us mortals, right? You don't want to go back with just a regular walking. I don't want you to try to say, okay, this is okay and copy it because, again, they have skills that we don't have. So, what I like to do in this position is do a sharp retreat. If I have to, I'm gonna say retreat, right? You're just going back to your distance, even within the new rules, because as you're gonna see on the match that I have on the back, you need to have this in order to not get hit. You can get hit in this separation, so gotta be careful. Great show of footwork right here from Ando. So these little tiny steps. Every time he moves a step, he's ready to go again for a technique, right? Every time he anchors the left foot. Ah, that was a match. Okay, perfect. Let me just catch up with a little bit of the comments while I switch up for the other. Let me start switching up for the other semifinal. Okay, I have it here. Okay, so let me see. Um, Frank, you said you have no idea when he did it. Okay, I'll try to find it. Why all you saw from the all Japan Kendo Championship was from me. Ah, you have no more motivation for you to watch the All Japan. Okay, well we can watch some of this stuff together. It's a great listen, especially if you're practicing for being a better shimpan. The ippons score there, it's a great example. Actually, George McCall gave me that insight to look at the slow motions from the ippons from the All Japans, because obviously this is what the highest level of kendo or shimpan consider an ippon, right? And try to pick that for yourself. Hui, the Hoshiko versus Yamashita Wasakote. Okay, so then I was mistaken, Farang. I thought I saw one in one of the early matches, but maybe wasn't. That's why I was saying Hoshiko, but I can't. Then it will be. I'll need to watch again all the Jordan players. Who you're saying that his back foot is so high? You know what? I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Let me reopen that real quick and see if we can talk slightly about this. Let's try to find that spot. Let me switch the screen. Okay, I believe. Oh no, we went too far. So you're talking about this part right here, Hui. When he's in Kamae here and they're separating, right here. I know it takes a minute for you to catch in. You're correct. And listen, I I'm going to say that at this point it looks kind of weird, especially because his right leg seems to be very straight. So it seems like he has a lot of his weight in his front leg. Actually, he has a lot of his weight in his front leg. But maybe it's a way for him to just kind of keep the pressure and make him go back. I was talking during the championship. We were watching the the tournament itself. Many high level players, when they are dominating the fight, when they're trying to dominate the court, they try to keep the center. So maybe, and again, this is an assumption. I'm not saying that this is what it is. Maybe this was an unconscious way for him to say, I'm not going to give away the center. I'm going to keep myself here. Because if you notice, after that, his opponent went far back, right? He didn't need to go this far. And then what does he do immediately? He takes more core to keep this center. A lot of when you're seeing that one person is dominating the match, they kind of keep the center. And remember, at this point, I'm not saying that he's dominating only because of his level or whatever superiority against the opponent, but he's also in a confident position. He has the point. He has the ippon on his side. So maybe, I don't know, maybe. But you're correct. This is not something, again, this is not something that you want to copy. One of the main reasons why I like to do this together with you guys, watch this videos, is because I would like to make sure that we're trying to absorb the right things from these videos and not copying bad habits as well. So we can discuss all these things and we can actually try to understand it, analyze it, and make it our own. It's not something the last thing I would like to do is to promote bad bad habits. So yes, if you find stuff like this, let's try to discuss it and try to see how we can make it for ourselves. Um, Lucky, you said good analysis always. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Especially for that forward intention. That forward intention is key, man. And I feel like Ando lost it because he kind of lost his what's the word? Like demeanor, like the way that he was coming into the fight was different on that final. I think maybe he fell into a pressure because everybody, when we were watching it together, the way that he was doing since the first fight, Ando, he looks strong. He looks so strong and so dominant over all of his opponents. But the last fight, it kind of like it deflated a little bit. That happened to me in a tournament, by the way. One of the things that I like to do when I go to a tournament, I like to, the day before, is just not talk about the tournament. Just relax, just do my thing, have fun, whatever. Make sure that I go in with kind of like an open mind to the tournament. When I'm there, I try to focus on my fight, on that fight. As a matter of fact, my main focus is one ippon. I always say one ippon, one ippon, one ippon, right? Try to focus on that. And in a tournament where I got my first Tsuki during the tournament, I got so excited. And this wasn't the semifinal. Man, I started talking about it. I started, like, not, I wouldn't say celebrating, but I was like impressed and shocked that I got my first Tsuki, whatever. And then the last fight, okay, I came and had a strong fight. My opponent was very strong, but my mindset was gone. A sensei that I used to practice with, he used to say that you want to be kind of like a tea kettle when it's already hot, that it's like blowing out the steam, like ready to explode, but you don't want to let go of the steam. You don't want all your water to run out. So that, for me, that's always been a great analogy. And this is my mindset during tournaments. So during tournaments, maybe people would tell me that like I'm not friendly and stuff like that. I'm not really talkative to people because I try to just keep my mindset on that. And I truly believe at that tournament, just because I lost my edge by just letting that steam go, just being excited or whatever, it kind of, for me, it kind of just took my kendo out. And maybe something like this could have happened to Ando. So I don't know. I will try to bring a sports psychologist that does kendo to try to do a stream and see if we can talk about these aspects during Shiai. Let me catch up with some of the comments. By the way, guys, so anybody that would like to be part of the Discord server and talk to more people that love Kendo, please feel free to join the Discord server. The link is there. And if you would like to be part or become a member of the stream of the channel, I just send the link. You can click it there, and you can become a member, and you get a couple of extra perks. Some of the stuff that I would like to start developing with you guys. So feel free to check it out and see it. Quick little plug there. Also, remember that we have some merch. You can check it out. If you haven't, please take a second to hit the like button. It really helps the channel, really helps the stream. If you haven't, subscribe. Okay, commercials are done. Anyways, this is the other semifinal, Murakami versus Ikeda. So let's watch this one. So I'm just gonna remind you. I'm gonna remind you, Murakami is on the red. He is the winner. Let's watch the fight. The videos, because they did the highlights of the fight, are very short. So let's watch the fight. If you see something, pull it out in the comments, and we'll discuss it. Okay? Where's my notebook here? Lucky. Sorry, I'm just gonna pause it for a second. Lucky. So I don't have the streams on my main video section, but in the main page there is a past streams, and because I don't list them because there were too many videos getting everything cluttered over there. So what I do is I put it in a playlist, and all of the streams are there. I don't list them so they don't show up in the main page between all of the videos, but you can always find them in order as they were streamed in that section. Thank you for asking though. I enjoy that people like the streams after the stream. Listen, say what you will, but White has very strong and sharp ments too. Nice Koteman. Okay, sorry, I'm watching. Okay, so this was very short, very few highlights. Um, what I want to do for next week's stream, if they have it already with all the matches, I would like to do a comparison between the first matches and the last match. So finals and the first matches of each of the competitors that made it there. So Murakami and Ando. But it's 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 cool that they did these highlights. So, but we don't have, I think, much to discuss here. In my eyes, I don't know if you guys see something that we haven't talked about already. Um, Again, I feel both competitors are very strong. I like White, how he always kind of has a response to whatever happens, and even after that response, he has something else. So, like at this point, the last two exchanges, you see this, and then immediately go for a technique. So this was the man that got the ippon, right? But there's something very interesting, something that I'm personally working on. So I kind of, maybe that's why it popped out in my head. Let me catch up with comments. Okay, so Lucky, you said brilliant regarding, I'm guessing, the thing with the streams. Thank you, and you're welcome, by the way. So I'm trying to organize the channel a little bit better. And by the way, guys, soon, if you speak Spanish, let me know. If you're here, you speak Spanish, give me 1 second. Okay, I'll do it later. I'm going to start a Spanish channel as well. I'm going to maybe dub some of the content and put it in Spanish because, especially with my trip to Peru, I do see the need a lot for Spanish content. And one of the reasons why I started this channel is to at least promote Kendo with the languages that I can speak. So I would like to do that. So I'll put that later. I'll put the link to that channel later. Es Kendo Tips en Español. But anyways, there's something that's happening here that is something that I'm personally working on, and it's understanding my fluidity from semi-ashi or semi into the strike. So I feel that White here put good pressure into the shinai, but he kind of got too tense. And this is something that I struggle with myself because I feel that this is happening with me. I come in, maybe, you see, he's going to take the center here. He's going to even push Murakami Shinai out of the center. You see, when he does this little cut into the Shinai, watch. You see, he comes in. He's not, to take the center, people think that they need to push out of the way. But you don't need to push out of the way. You need to cut into the opponent. And this is what gives you the center. This is what White is doing here. Watch. You see? It's a sharp, even it's a sharp cut. With Tenouchi all together, makes you take the center and pushes the opponent enough for you to have an opening. But I feel that maybe he focused too much on this right here, and Murakami was able to, you see, he kept doing it going forward, but at this point, maybe he froze. Enough for Murakami to come in from a fluid motion, so he didn't even have to semi in, right? Not that he didn't have to semi in. Let me please erase that and let me just take it back in, because I don't want this to be confusing, or I don't want to make people confused. What I'm saying is that it was like his opponent was frozen and at this point almost like a dummy. So of course Murakami, he's coming in. So this, as you may know, this is Isokuito no Mae, right? You can hit here from one step, but for some people it can be uncomfortable. This is not an easy distance to hit from one step. The first thing that happens is Murakami throws his foot forward in, right? he kind of starts throwing the forward leg into the opponent, getting around the opponent's shinai, and this is one of my favorite things to do, messes up with the timing because it almost looked like he's going to step down to move in, but instead of doing that, I kind of call it like skipping a rock on the water, right? He throws the foot and immediately goes in. Wait. Watch. And goes in for the man, takes the man. I think a clearer example of this, because he did it from a much further distance, was the first time Nishimura won the All Japan. I think the first man, he did it just like this. The first or the second, I don't remember, but he won by 2 men. And this is essentially the same, right? You want to come in, he's moving the body first, not the hands. Many people think that by moving the hands first, you're gonna be faster. No, move the legs, pushing with the legs, and then engage the hands as you engage your fumikiri. Engage the legs, engage the hands with the fumikiri. Explosive ippon. This right here, for me, is the secret of speed. You engage the legs. I'm gonna say it one more time. The secret of speed for me is you engage the legs first, engage the hands last. You engage the hands. For me, I engage the hands at the moment of the fumikiri. So if you look at this, there's going to be pressure. He's pushing with the left leg first, and then there's going to be a kick of the floor. That's the fumikiri, right? And at that point, look, if you look at the hands and the foot at the same time, that starts happening when this leg is pushing in forward. And Tenouchi, obviously. I don't know, that to me, that's the secret of speed in Kendo. Tell me if you have a different one. Yeah, let me know that in the comments. Let me catch up with some comments real quick. Hui, you said that Red feels the push down, then strike. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tension. There was a lot of tension from White, and this is something that I'm trying to get away from myself. Discipline equals freedom. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for passing by. Murakami had a height advantage to score than men on Ikeda. Yes, but I don't think height matters. That's my thought. So, I've seen this done with people on the same height. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, so I think yes, but I don't want to people feel that, oh, there's an advantage. As a matter of fact, there's a great article from Chiba Sensei, and it kind of talks about the advantages of this and disadvantages of different kendoka, different types of kendoka. I think it's in the Discord server, so you guys are welcome to pass by and check it out. On the resources tab. I don't know. You guys think that any advantage that any style of kendoka has, do you agree that there's also disadvantages with it? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts? It's actually a good discussion question, I think. So at this point, when I'm watching these matches, a lot of the things I like to do is I like to watch the footwork, right? And for example, I do think even though Ikeda lost, he had strong kendo. I mean, they're all there, so they all belong there, right? But look at the footwork from Ikeda here. Look, the engagement of the left leg. The legs are a little bit wide, right? But within this wideness, there's also a sense of comfortability. This is not the kama that you want to practice for yourself, especially during kihong and so on. During tournament, you have a little bit of more. You'd pay less attention to this type of details. You want your body to do what you're training to do. But there's a couple of core concepts that are present here. Their balance point, it's in between their legs, right? Their intention is forward. They're not leaning in one leg. But look how Ikeda approaches, right? This is to do this without tensing up, without wasting energy, without your muscles like, tensing up. It takes practice. Look how fluid he moves, how relaxed it is, and sharp. And look how the push, look at both legs landing on that Fumikomi. Look, he jumped in with the left leg and both legs landing at the same time, right? And immediately pushed again. You see, most people, when they do this, they will land down and then you'll see a clear effort to move forward. But look at this. It's like he's falling in, right? The Fumikomi, remember, Fumikomi pulls you forward, Fumikiri pushes you. So the difference between him landing like this and many of us landing down and having to push forward is that as soon as he's landing with that Fumikomi is starting to bring the floor in or to pull him forward. So the momentum is not cut. The energy is not stopped. So if you watch, he is landing in here and pulling at the same time. And immediately when the left foot lands, guess what he's doing again? He's pushing again. So that way that right leg moves him forward. Crazy skills, man. Crazy skills. Who was it? Was it you, Lucky, that you were talking about the left foot being high, right? So at this point, this is dangerous, I believe, because it's already okay. He did. I played it. What this means normally is that he's going backwards, right? He has most of his energy on the front leg, and they do that to go back, or we do that normally to go back. Is not a healthy habit to create when doing like this, but I feel that here he was trying to bait him to come in for a technique so he can go back and then forward again, right? So if you see, he jumps back and then he engages the left foot differently, right? So now it's with a forward intention. And this is some of the things that the hakama hides, so that way you can, deceive your opponent per se at this point. Discipline. You are correct. Height and reach plays a big part in your uchima. That's correct. But this is the disadvantage. It takes longer to get to your opponent, right? So that's one of the things that in the article with Shiva Sensei he mentions, right? So when you're smaller than your opponent, you have to close the distance in order for you to get a point. With a taller opponent, if you get them to have to come in, they have to come in from a much farther distance, making them more predictable. Not predictable, but the timing makes it a little bit longer. So it's easier to anticipate the attack and for you to be able to have a counter, because as they close the distance, then they come into your distance. So there's always advantages and disadvantages. You're correct that the height and reach, it plays a big part for that type of technique where the person kind of had like a little bit of backward intention. The explosiveness helped them to kind of reach over to the point where he was going back. But again, I think that there's advantages and disadvantages to all type of styles of kendo. I don't know. This is just a fun conversation. Not trying to say that you're wrong at all. Guys, if you haven't taken a second to please hit the like button. It really helps the channel and helps this stream to go out to more people. Appreciate it. Guys, by the way, I will be doing a stream, or I'm hoping to do a stream with Andy Fisher sometime soon. Now that I go back into my routine of things, I need to contact him again. So if you have any questions that you would like me to ask him, well, first you can pass by during that stream, or you can send them to me. Discord is the best way, I think. So that way I can prepare all that and we can talk about it together. Okay, let me just show you something real quick before we go into the finals. That's going to be the last video because I don't want to keep you here forever. Where is the... Okay, here. Okay, so... Watch this ippon. Okay, so this to me is what am I doing? This to me is very important to keep in mind right now with the new provisional rules. Watch it one more time. So Hikiwaza is not gone, first of all. Hold on. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Okay, so Hikiwaza is not gone. You have to separate with attentiveness to your opponent because, again, the rules are not meant to be just to get Hansoku, to give the Hansoku. Again, at this point, I don't think they're doing this in order to prevent the spread of viruses, but they're, I think, experimenting with how to promote a kendo that is focused more on fighting rather than playing the rules. I make the comparison with the last World Kendo Championships as a joke. Maybe it's a serious joke, maybe it's serious, I don't know. We're thinking based on how things are going that a lot of these aspects are going to stay. Is it better? Is it worse? That's to be decided still. One of the things that I'm noticing is that there's more ippons being scored during matches. As a matter of fact, I believe the last 3 All Japans have ended with 2 ippons, which normally is something that doesn't happen, right? Normally it was like 1 ippon and then the fight for that last one. Not saying that there's, again, not defending the rules or bashing the rules at all. I'm just kind of presenting the information as I see it. So that being said, because of these rules, I feel like competitors and shimpans, and now mostly competitors, there's a lot of confusion of how you should maybe disengage. My advice or my thoughts is don't disengage. Always be fighting. The point is to not push in, to kind of keep the Subaseriai for no reason. You want to try to have an opening. So at this point, I feel that what happened was that Nishimura came in, like there's Tatari, there's a little bit of Subaseriai, and his opponent is maybe playing the rules, I don't know. Immediately going back, but with the intention of trying to make an opening. A lot of times, I don't know if you've done this before, that you relax during a fight to make your opponent relax, and then you take a point. So I think this is kind of the similar concept, look. Oh wait, it wasn't this one, sorry. I don't know. It's a shame that he lost this way. But right here, I see a little bit of relaxation from him, right? Like he even drops Like look at the posture. Let me try to go frame by frame. Ah, okay. Let me go slow motion. So you see here he's engaged. Look at the shoulders, look at the sword right here. Bam. And he took it immediately. He took it immediately. So it's something that you want to be mindful of. You don't want to drop your guard. You want to make sure that you understand that you are in a fight. So don't disengage. Always have that intention of a technique. Make sense? Let me catch up with some of the comments though. Let me go back into this. We have one more video, guys, and this one's going to be the full final, okay? Just because, you know, it's the final and there were two great ippons. The last video is not from Kendo World. I took it from the All Japan Kendo Federation. Okay, let me just set it up correctly. Okay, let me catch up with some of the comments. Hui, you said that you want to hear some thoughts about Nito and why there's no one does it in the All Japan Kendo Championship. Okay, thoughts on why nobody does it on the All Japan Kendo Championship? I think is because there's a lot of time spent in Ito for a developing player. I anticipate that there's going to be quite a few Nitokas in the World Championship, but from the All Japan, I believe it's harder to find a Nito player because, and you guys can check the Nito stream that me and Ash did a few weeks ago, or maybe like even like months ago. But you know, when people transition from Ito to Nito, there's a lot of effort and knowledge that maybe they feel that they have to throw away to switch completely to Nito. So because remember, in Japan, they start Kendo at a very young age, and I think they're allowed to switch to, or not they're allowed, like Jodan, it's introduced into players mostly end of high school, beginning of college, and at this point, people are already Sandan, Yondan, and maybe their vision of, you know, what they want to do with their Kendo, Nito hasn't been there because again, Nito hasn't been popular. As a matter of fact, I don't think there has been any Nitoka in the All Japan. I think that the Nitokas has been in the Hachidan All Japan maybe, or even like, you know, like the Nanadan and so on. I don't know if there has been any Nitoka in the, you know, the regulars All Japan. That's a good question. I need to ask Cash about. But I think this is the reason why we don't see it as often, or we don't see it as much, because there's so much education done in Nito that when transferring to Nito, many people don't want to do it because of this reason. Again, this is just my assumption, my thoughts. Also, maybe there could be a stigma as well. You know, here I think in the West, there's a lot of stigma against Nito. Many people, many Shimpan or senseis or even Kendokas, they might see that people go to Nito kind of to be tricky and try to get more ippons just to be different or whatever. Or maybe they see it, oh, they're fans of Musashi, and like, you know, many people, I don't feel that they have a good standing for Nito, and I think it's, you know, their thoughts and how they perceive it. But the truth is that I feel that there's many Nitoka out there that they're very serious about Nito, and they do a Nito that many Kendoka they could take from their values into their Ito. So lately I've been talking a lot to Nitokas, and I do enjoy it, and I kind of want to try it out as well for a little bit, just to see how I feel about it. But I definitely don't want to have that stigma of like, oh, Nito is kind of like a, you know, bad thing at all. Okay, let me catch up more comments. Oh, Frank, you said because nobody with Nito has classified to be a rep for the All Japan Kendo Championship so far. I guess that's not available competitively. I think it can be very viable competitively. As a matter of fact, Frank, you said you mentioned Raymond Sensei. Raymond Sensei held his own against Ega, and very nice match. He had a very nice match. So I think it's viable competitively, but the biggest thing is that there's not many years of experience that they would have before they go into this tournament. Um, so maybe they don't feel confident doing it. And as a matter of fact, like a lot of these people are police officers, and police officers kind of have like a set regime of training and so on. So it's kind of hard, I think, to introduce that. I think we might see it more if we get more people that are not police officers, that they have a little bit more freedom to experiment. So, for example, Ando, right? He's a teacher now. So maybe in this cases, maybe we'll see more. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this is a question that I can find a Hachidan sensei in Japan and ask him. Discipline, you saying that you don't blame Nishimura, had a confused posture, like what just happened. The biggest thing I feel that at that position was that, you know, understanding the rules. Like maybe in his mind he's thinking I was supposed to separate, but this guy got the point, and he's not wrong. The point is that, and I mentioned this in the video that I made about the COVID rules, that you want to have the mentality that maybe I cannot do it because I can get the hansoku, but maybe he will do it and he will not get a hansoku. So it's a, you know, it's weird. We're still adapting to it. That's all I have to say. Okay. Let's watch the final. Now, the reason I wanted to play a little bit before. I wanted to play a little bit before. I want to see something. I didn't get the chance to do this because I noticed it as I was setting up for the stream. Let me see. This little jumping. Listen. I'm nitpicking everything on this fight. I really wanted Ando to win, right? This is Ando, if I'm not mistaken, right? But look at the little jumpiness that he has at the beginning, right? To me, when I saw it and when I was watching it, I thought that Ando was the other guy. Because to me, it's kind of a thing of your mind saying, I need to get ready, I'm not ready. Normally, and please, if you guys can, and verify this if you have the time to go the matches, I will do it when they post the matches for Ando, and I hope that they do it from over here so I can see them. I can see Ando coming in. But I don't think I saw Ando get ready like this in any of his previous matches. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's the other guy. But then I realized it was Ando, so I was like, got me worried. Yeah, that's Ando, right? Oh, well, what happened here? Sorry. And believe it or not, these little details make a big difference in your performance. Tiago, welcome to the stream. I'm doing well. First regular stream after my trip. So trying to make sure that I get used to it again. So I feel Ando is kind of just throwing himself in there, right? And I don't know if you guys saw one of the posts on Facebook. Um, Somebody reposted that Murakami got complimented on his men a lot. So something worth studying, you know. Sorry, guys. Let's watch the match first, and I'll interrupt after. Let's see. Where's my pen? If you see something again that you guys like, let me know, and I will, you know, when we the second time around, we can explore it together. And Tiago, yes, we will watch it again in slow motion. Oof. Yes, wait, there's a lot of stress on all this missed strikes. And the always the way I see it is that everything it's information, right? So I feel that at this point it's interesting because there wasn't really how do I say this? Everything we do during the match is information, and your opponent may be learning from it, maybe processing it. And I feel that the way that he was going, maybe somebody like Ega, he would have taken advantage of that to do Kaeshiwaza, right? For example, because he was throwing the mans from a little bit far distance, and I think he was all over the place. That being said, I think his desperation kind of showed in the fact that how short the match was, right? He opened himself a lot for opportunities. Um, so how about we watch some of this stuff and study a little bit. So this kote, I really like the pressure of Ando coming in for that kote. So as a matter of fact, like I don't know why they didn't give him that kote. That was a very nice kote. So and again, this is something again that I'm personally working on. So I like to break it down. Look at the interaction here. So there's pressure from both of them, right? He actually did the pressure first, and Ando replied with the pressure. And then guess what happened? He held his ground. He started kind of coming back a little bit, but anchored himself to push forward again. And at that point, Murakami kind of raced up and went to cover. I don't know why. Like, if anybody knows why. Okay, okay. Look what happens after the hit. So maybe that's kind of what made it confusing for the judges. I feel that his Sakigawa, right, like got stuck on the mengane there, and he kind of made it an awkward motion, so he didn't kind of get a clear hit. But all in all, I think we can learn a lot from this interaction, and especially about Seme, right? If I'm not mistaken, Ando is Rokudan and Murakami is Godan. So both of them, I feel that they're working on creating that pressure with their body before the attack. So at this point, if I had to guess, Ando feels that Murakami is ready, right? But he's ready to protect. He's not really ready to go in. So at this point, he took advantage of that and kind of created that opening by going around the sword after lifting his sword, which I feel is different than just for him to throw in a feint, throw in like a fake attack to open the kote. I feel that this is a little bit different, right? Because he's using his body, he is using timing. I don't know. I would like to hear your thoughts though. So at this point, Ando, I really like to. Okay. So Murakami is closing the distance a lot, right? He's coming in very close and very sharp with the footwork, right? He throws a kote man. Oh no, a kote. Only a kote, sorry. And Ando is ready to respond. He has that forward intention. You see, right now I feel that, okay, I think I said this during the last stream, but you realize he threw two attacks in there, right? Look at this. He was short, and then he immediately threw another. And you do this by not using your biceps to pull your sword back and having good tenouchi. So let's break it down, because this is the beginning of the end, I feel like. Okay, Murakami, he is anchored in, right? He's ready to go. He pushes in. He brings the left leg forward. Why? So that way he has more reach to go in forward, right? At this point, both of them are in a tense mode. Ando puts the pressure forward, and Murakami does the same thing that we talked about for the previous ippon, right? He messes the timing by doing a half step almost again like a skipping rock on the floor, skipping rocks on the water, sorry. And after that, you see everything he does. Okay, first he brings the left leg forward. At this point, he replies to Ando's pressure by stepping in slightly. This is kind of what got Ando in trouble, right? Because now he's at a closer distance, enough for Murakami to take an ippon, right? At this point, he looks like he's going to take a step because he's bringing the leg forward, but not really launching it, right? So slowly sliding in. And at this point, Ando hasn't reacted to it. Now, when he engages the legs to go for the man with the fumikiri, he has been relaxed through the whole time that he's launching that man, making it seem again like he's still on kamae. The man is not necessarily a strong man, right? When he lands it, but everything, it's there, right? He lands it before Ando was able to get that block. Now, let me summarize this real quick. Why Murakami's man was so effective? Why was he able to fool Ando during the final of the All Japan Kendo Championship? Look what he does. He steps in to put pressure and holds his ground. Brings the left leg forward for extra reach for that attack. Ando, what does he do? He holds his ground first. He starts gauging the center and then puts pressure against Murakami. From there, Murakami replies with pressure forward, sliding the foot towards Ando. And at the very last moment, when he engages the left leg for the fumikiri, that's when he starts using his hands to go for the man. And he manages to get the man with a good impulse from the left leg to get that little extra distance and a little bit of explosivity. And of course, great Tanouchi at the end to get enough impact to get the man. Another big thing that I always talk about is that he has full extension of the man. One thing that I like to say, I actually picked this up from Griva Sensei. He always says, put the leather to the cloth. So you're aiming to hit the top of the man with the furthest part of your shinai. This gives you the optimum reach. There's no need for you to go forward any further and kind of lose a lot of your sword back in. He's landing the man at the moment where he needs to land it with the force that he needs, nothing extra, nothing less, pushing very well with the left foot and able to explode at the last second to make sure that he gets that man. The biggest thing is that as he approaches Ando, he looks like he's in kamae the whole time he's moving in until it's too late. So you see, he's coming in. He's not really throwing the technique yet. He's getting the hands ready. But again, he closed the distance after Ando gave him a little bit of closer distance. And he's doing it with his upper body relaxed. There is tension on the left leg. He approached the right leg slightly. He slid the leg in forward. And then he throws the technique and only engages the muscle at the very last second. So if you want to watch it fully. That being said, this is why this is so important to have full control of your body, being able to relax your upper body as your legs are doing the work, moving the legs first before you throw the arms. If you want to be fast, I think the secret to speed is to learn to throw your body, use your legs before you engage the hands. The hands will always catch up. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you guys see anything extra, something else that you feel that made it possible for Murakami to get that ippon so nicely? So, discipline. Murakami, you said Murakami used his height advantage to use Tsugiashi to score that man. Pretty slick tactic. I don't look. I mean, like, I don't think there's so much of a height advantage. I think they're pretty even, both of them. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. They're both tall. I think one of the main things that makes it good for him is that he's using a kendo that is good for his body. You know, he's not using kendo that doesn't suit his body. And this is one of the biggest things that we as kendoka need to do. We need to find out what works for us. If you manage to do that, I think your kendo will elevate so much more. That doesn't mean that there are things that you cannot do. Like, it doesn't mean like there are techniques that you cannot do, but there's always something that your body will favor. My thoughts. So at this point, I feel that Ando kind of switched into blindly attacking, and he is wasting a lot of opportunities. And I don't mean that he's wasting opportunities that he's not scoring when he had an opening. It's just that he's giving his opponent more information about his timing. And that's, I think, what's dangerous about these points. Listen, that was cold. Murakami was cold on this one. Watch this. He's going in, and look what he does. He moves slightly. He missed it, but then he's like, "That's all you got?" I don't know. I think it shows a lot the confidence, and it shows a lot. It's kind of at this point playing with Ando's mind, right? I think Murakami was very well aware of what he was doing at this point. Look, he's not going back. He's going forward. He's taking that center again. Ando is really going for it, throwing the Tsuki, kind of dangerous. Not gonna lie. Listen, if anything from these matches can teach you something, one thing, if anything, these matches, if all these matches, if this finals can teach us one thing, is that power is not necessarily in Kendo. But when I mean power, I mean hitting hard. There is power in their body. There is power in their techniques, but it's not focusing on hitting hard the target. It's focusing more on being effective. Remember, we're not trying to clobber down our opponent. We're trying to strike. We're trying to make a cut with a sword. Of course, we have a blunt sword. We're not going to cut. But our goal to get an ippon is not to hit the hardest. It's to hit efficiently as if we're having a sharp sword. My opinion. So, if you watch this ippon, it's not particularly hard, but it's strong. The body posture, continuity, the commitment into a technique, all of this, that's the power, that's the strength, but not hard hit. So I guess what I'm trying to say, if you're trying to work on hitting harder, work on having better kikentaichi, better tenouchi, and sutemi. So don't work on hitting down into the target. Now, again, this is a very slick in for the man. Ando, unfortunately, couldn't manage to go around, and Murakami was able to, again, efficiently come in for that man. And guess what? He did the same thing for the second ippon that he did for the first ippon. He slid his leg in, holding his kamae, and then hitting with the hands, throwing the hands at the very last second after he engaged the back leg. Watch. Sliding the body, fully kamae. Throwing the knee towards the opponent, still in kamae. And at this point, when the leg is already pushing off the ground, that's when the man gets triggered. He hits the man with full extension and a good follow through. Again, his ability to hold his hands in, pristine. And one more thing is something that Sensei from Greece shared with me, and something that is a little detail that maybe you already do on your own, but if you don't do it, maybe it's a good thing for you to start keeping this in mind when the tenouchi is done. So I talked about that you throw your hands, or he throws his hands after the left leg is engaged. But when does the tenouchi happen? Well, if you notice, right now the hands are going forward. They haven't reached the maximum reach yet. That's redundant. They haven't reached its maximum height, right? At this point is when the tenouchi starts happening. So before the arms get to the end. Many people, they get to the end and then they do tenouchi. Hold on. Let me put this in the full screen real quick so that way you guys can see it. So many people, they do tenouchi, they throw the hands and then do tenouchi at the end, right? But if you get in the habit of throwing the hands and then doing the tenouchi as the hands are making it there, you're gonna have a more efficient cut. And if you notice, that's what's happening here. So he's starting to do the tenouchi at this point. If you see here, right here, the sword starts going down and the hands are coming up. So it all works together on a strong technique. Does that make sense? It's very important to know when is the right time to do tenouchi. So I hope that's useful for you guys. Very great match. I think we can learn a lot from these matches. I think you guys can go back and see my reaction on the first All Japan Kendo Championship. I was kind of disappointed, even though there were a lot of, there's a couple of good ippons there and good things happening there. But I'm going to say that I'm getting excited more and more about how Kendo is going in this latest All Japans. So let me catch up with the comments. Discipline, you said Murakami has a good side, sharpness in his hits. That's the power in the technique. Correct. And you get this, and a lot of times when people say sai, people think it's like, oh, you're just hitting hard. No. It works together all the way from the feet, all the way down, all the way up, to the hands. So everything has to work together. Hui, nice information. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Guys, quick little research that I'm doing for a video that I'm hoping to maybe post by Monday. And is, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to buy brand new cheap kote, or do you prefer to send your kote for repair? This is, if you can let me know down your thoughts on this, I would really appreciate it. I'm looking for what are the cheapest options for kote. I think the cheapest option right now, if you live inside of the US, the cheapest with free shipping, it's Ibogu. And I think all over the place, the cheapest option is Kendo Star, like if you live in different countries, because he has free shipping on orders over $85. And, if you have any import costs, a lot of the countries that he ships to, he covers that. But it will be the cheapest if you use the code Kendo Tips, because you get 10% off with that. So as I think his kote are 155, so you take out 10%, it comes out to 130 something. So I think that's the cheapest kote. And if somebody has the Vanguard kote, let me see, is that the Vanguard kote? Let me know how they are, because I would like to know how this compares to, let me see if the Vanguard kote, if it's the Vanguard kote. Yes, the Vanguard kote extra protective is $146, plus you get a 10% discount. So if anybody has that, I will really appreciate if you tell me how they are. I'm gonna leave the Discord server, obviously, because we're about to disconnect, so you guys can check it out in the Discord. If you could please let me know, I'll appreciate it. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. If you haven't, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. Also, as I head out, I'm gonna leave a link to one of my latest videos is breaking down the men for Nito. So if you're interested in that, or if you could pass by, just leave me a comment there. It will really help the channel. Appreciate it. Again, thank you very much for everybody that passing by. Shout out to all the members. If you'd like to become a member of the stream, of the channel, you can do so in the link that I'm about to pass by. And this way you can help support the channel, and you will help me bring more stuff for you. So it's really appreciated for everybody that could support the channel. Okay, 1 second. Okay. And again, if you have any questions, anything I can help you with, you can let me know in the comments of my videos, or pass by the Discord server, and you can come and ask me your questions. Anyways, guys, in the meantime, if you have any suggestions, let me know. But I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. Have good practices, and let me know if I can help you grow your kendo. Okay? Thank you very much, guys. You have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you for watching.